Hey, contractors, welcome back. We're here again. What are we talking about today, Jay?
I think we're talking about hiring systems,
Like,
which
as
I love.
in hiring on Craigslist, like
But you
stealing
insult
people?
me.
What are we? I know there's more to it, man. Dive in.
So yeah, let's get rolling with this. So again, we've talked a lot about like the shifting times, and we're not going to get into that today. I want to keep our eyes focused on an outcome. Okay, because I think we talk a lot about a common problem and the sore point. We all know it's been harder and harder to hire. We
Yeah.
all know that there's been a struggle to find the right guys. And you know what? I don't disagree with a lot of the misery and pain around it. Okay, so I don't want to talk about that today. I want to talk about strictly a solution with an outcome. Okay, so first off, in terms of hiring process, we hear the word process all the time. I feel like it gets thrown around a lot. What I like to really kind of make clear is a process is great, all right, but how is it contained? How does it operate? And how much requirement of the owner or whoever is in charge of it is there? And how much room is there for human error? All right. I would say that the best process I've ever seen is the one you could throw in your desk and forget about.
How do you
Okay.
get there?
Well, that's what we want to discuss. So I've been, obviously struggling with hiring, but they go back 10 years, right? And we developed a really great program. It's called Pro Hire AI. And what it does, very simply, all right, is it's an automated hiring system. Okay. So when we say automated, does that mean not personalized? No. It means automated in that you're not spending your time weeding through applications, phone calls, like the things you're not doing anyways. Like, let's be honest,
For sure.
right? A prospect comes into your business. I bet you, and then this is the funny part, I bet you, okay, most of you guys ghost your prospects or your applicants more than they ghost you, right? And then we complain about getting ghosted. Well, why is this guy getting back to me? And I'm not calling him back. We try 3 times, call his phone number, and just it's stupid. It's just it doesn't make logical sense and it doesn't work in today's environment. So in terms of a solution, what do we do to solve that? Number one, whether you use ProHire or not, figure out a way to get back to every one of your applicants. Even if it's not a fit, create a relationship. Because why? It's just like shitting in your own backyard, right? Like if you don't meet the prospect and appreciate their time that they've spent reaching out to you, all right, what are you expecting in return?
That's a good point.
And no one ever thought about it, right?
Yeah,
Like
that's a
think
good
about
point.
those things. So a big thing is like you have a client journey, right? Think about your leads. Think about your leads pipeline, right? Do we let those things run dry? No.
No, you would have to treat it the same way, wouldn't you?
Right. It's because sales and marketing is exactly the same as recruitment and hiring. Whenever we find anybody that has a sales and marketing issue, all right, it's usually directly connected to recruitment and hiring. Now, here's the other side of it. I would never run a marketing campaign. I would never turn on a lead. I would never do any of that stuff. Okay. If I wasn't equally planned and running a recruitment and hiring. Why? Because you don't wait till you need guys to hire guys. You don't wait to create relationships. You don't wait. You can be doing that 24/7, 365. You can be nurturing just like a lead. All right. Don't, when things work out, and the whole principle here is that you're going to bring opportunity into your pipeline. You're going to nurture it till it's a good fit for the business. You're going to interview. You're going to have guys waiting on the bench. Okay. For every staff member we have 20 replacements. Okay. We've gotten there over, months and years and really trying to figure out how to do that, how to and one ball gets dropped and you set somebody off, again, you've lost an opportunity, just like you've lost a job. If you start putting the same effort and energy into your hiring as you do into your sales and marketing, you will find that you get better results in both. All right. Now, let me explain that one. So tell me, what's the best way to market in an area market, do you think?
I mean, today traditionally would be word of mouth.
Okay. All right. So let's apply it now to recruitment and hiring. I disagree. I think the best way to market is actually to take your nearest competitors' resources away from them so they can't do work. Pretty easy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And how do we do that? Basically word of mouth, being a good employer. not being a dick, like, not being a prick, I should say. Like, think about the logic behind it. What is the easiest way to raise your price, make more profit, okay, and have less headaches in your life?
Starve your competitors' resources.
Acquire the resources. All right. We are in the resource game,
So
whether
we're
you
being nice
realize it or
about it
not.
then.
Yeah. Well, ethically, we're going to ethically steal your competitors' guys, right? And that's very easy, more easier than you think. And here's what I mean by it. All right. Now, ethically means ethical. Like, we're not out, stopping them on the side of the road and being sleazy about it, because I wouldn't want that done to me. So I don't do those things to others. Here's what I mean by it is that I'm going to always be presenting myself as an opportunity and a place to work that would be attractive to somebody like myself. Okay. So meaning, when I put out information, when I share social media, all right, it's painting a picture, it's telling a story. Like, what is it like to work for them? All right. Now, when we get clever about it, we start to realize that, hey, you know what? These people can be targeted, right? Now, I'm not putting names. The algorithms won't allow you to do that. But what we can do is start to learn behaviors, and we can start to learn, things that allow us to consistently have our ads played in front of the right audience. All right. And over time, actually, it doesn't take much. All right. You can imagine somebody who has a job, and I only market to people that have jobs, that are unhappy where they're working.
Which
Okay.
makes sense.
And here's where the system part picks up. Okay. We still have to consider speed to lead. If you don't return a conversation with a prospect, he's gone, he's found a job somewhere else. You have less time with a prospect than you do with a lead. And we know that because we've tracked it across, many campaigns. We know it for a fact. The faster you can respond, and I mean at any time, being able to respond to that person reaching out, because here's why. What we found is a lot of guys will come, and the majority of our applicants come in Friday night to Sunday morning, or Sunday night, sorry. Now, I thought that it was unusual until I realized, hey, you know what? It's the way I'm marketing. You know why? Because these guys got jobs. So if somebody's applying to your to work with you during the week on at 2 in the afternoon, what's that telling you? Not always, but like the majority of it. So when we're marketing to those guys, it's because they've had a bad week, a bad month. They were having problems, and we've been in the right place at the right time. And when they reach out to us, we don't assume that they're ready to jump ship yet. No, they've reached out to us and done the most important thing, and that's share their contact information. Because now I have a database that I'm going to use. I've got a CRM I'm going to use, and I'm going to start to market to them more directly. They've given me permission to, all right? And I'm not going to stop until they tell me, you don't have permission to contact me anymore, all right? But I'm going to do it tastefully. I'm going to do it by sharing our stories, sharing our social media posts, allowing them to see what, it looks like on the other side, the greener side, all right? And knowing that I can track how they've engaged. I can see what they've touched. I can know if they're interested or not interested. And then, and only then, when I can warm them up to a point where I can tell they're opening the emails, I can see that they're drinking the Kool-Aid, I'm going to make a phone call. And it's usually just like that. So I know, and I know which area they're in. I know their thing. So when we have a campaign, we're running it. We're trying to get guys to, 10 or 11 score engagement. And I'm reaching out to them because they're on my bench and they don't even know it. They know who I am. They're offer aware, solution aware, right? And sometimes all it takes is a phone call. And now I'm not holding guys, telling them I'm going to give them work, No. They're in our database. I know who they are. That we can see them. All right. It's very easy. It's strategic. All right. And when they do reach out, our interviews, quick, efficient. It's not, it's something they can do on their own. We call them video interviews. We walk them through. We ask them the questions we need to do. And then we use AI to analyze if they're being honest with us or not. Totally hands off. Totally hands off. Okay. So I can run 200 to 300 of these a minute if I wanted to. Okay. Interviews at any given time. So I've now got a full interview. Now, was it invasive to the prospect? Nope.
No, they were asking for it in a way.
Absolutely. Right? And they can do it anytime, 24/7, 360, speed to lead. Okay. So speed and convenience. All right. They can do it at their time, at their thing. And now they've given us more data. And guess what? Even if I'm not ready to hire yet, maybe I don't need that role or that position, or maybe, the answers didn't line up with the exact role we're trying to hire. Well, they get categorized. All right. And guess what? Now I can change my contact up with them because I have even more information, so I can personalize it. All right. And I keep going back through the loops, through the communication. That's why we've got it set up now that guys will quit their jobs and come work for us at any time we ask. All right. That's what it takes. Now, if I'm going to put a big marketing campaign on, perfect. Right. Most guys don't realize that their guys have been reaching out for us for months, and we have all their contacts. All right. So when we're ready, or if somebody comes into our market that's threatening pricing and stuff like that, the first thing we do is check the list and see, oh yeah, this guy works for that. Okay, well, we see who their master crews are. We know who their best guys are. Right?
That's outstanding. And it is exactly
Right?
marketing. Like you have
It's
better
all
offer.
marketing.
On top of it, if you're feeding them information that they're
Right.
willing to accept, you're also providing, I guess, in this essence, training into.
Right. Well, it's getting them offer and solution aware. So again, and then, standing by what you say. So when anyone comes into our business, we have an onboarding process. That's all built into this whole workflow that we build out for our customers. Is it turns into training videos and modules. What can we get done before they hit the job site? And then we actually sit with these owners and teach them how to not be a prick, like not to, how to keep and retain guys. Because again, I can get 1 million guys to the door, just like you can get 1 million leads to your door and not close any, not keep any, like not have any jobs that are profitable. You don't stop it. We've hired somebody. If you're doing that nowadays, you're going to be obsolete. And I mean it. And I'll use the data to back it up on this. When I first really, understood the importance of onboarding, it came from pain. All right. So about 5 or 6 years ago, we were having a real problem. I wasn't looking at my numbers properly. So I was looking at my overall retention of my staff, okay, as a single number and saying, hey, we've only churned like 3% of staff over, a period of time.
Yeah,
okay?
normal.
But the company wasn't growing and we continued to have labor shortage problems. So I was just like putting my hands up in the air going, what's the labor shortage? Only to figure out, and again, it took, someone smarter than me in HR was like, okay, well, that's cool, but track your under 90 days, like your new hires. Track how quickly you're churning them. 86% under 90 days were being churned.
Oh.
So what was the problem? The problem was my onboarding. The problem was the staff I had been there so long that they were hazing all the new guys. They were not giving the new guys an opportunity to actually get into the company. And it was an old guard mentality, and it was killing us. Like it was killing us, where we just had these solid guys. Yeah, we had a great cruise and everything was on the outside, looks good. But how did we fix that, right? Like most of you guys probably have that, right? It's first of all by thinking about the journey and then incentifying that journey with your team. So the easiest way, we assigned a buddy. We gave them 15-minute lesson plan to follow for 90 days. We compensated the guy that was going to be the buddy. All right. On each crew, we have a buddy that's assigned. All right. He gets paid a percentage of his hourly wage for keeping him there, for keeping him engaged and keeping him on track. Absolutely. But it's a job, right? It's a responsibility. And here's certain people that do well in it and certain people that don't.
Yeah.
So by doing that and assigning someone, but also setting the example for the crew, we started to see that rate dramatically drop. And what we come to find out is anybody that makes it through your first 90 days, okay, whether they stay 2 years or 5 years, all has to do with that first 90 days. So the better you do in those first 90 days will dictate how profitable, how accustomed they are. And now, again, the days of just throwing guys out on a crew and hoping it works out, they're over. Give up on that. That's over. If you don't have something that stands out as a great offer, you're not going to attract top talent. If you are a shitty place to work, you're going to become obsolete. There's not an abundance of good quality guys, but there's just enough for the guys that got their shit together to attract them. And once the good guys start moving to one company, they all come. All right. Once you're known as a place to work, that is the secret right there. So it comes down to a couple of key things. And I've had the privilege of looking across hundreds of contracting business and seeing what works, what doesn't work. And it's been in my own tested, like what I've seen that works is simplest as this. All right. Speed to lead. Treat every prospect like it was an opportunity in your business. Okay. Sell them. All right. It's not 1950 anymore. People don't need your job. Okay. You got to sell them. You got to have a good offer. You got to have a way of delivering that offer. All right. You got to have a good structure And it doesn't have to be complicated, right? Again, you can forego complication, all right, by just mapping it out for yourself. I don't care how you do it, right? You don't need a fancy system for it if you don't, if you don't have a lot of guys to hire.
Mm-hmm.
What you do need though is either you're going to dedicate your time, all right, or you're going to dedicate your money, one or the other, right? So you're going to invest in a system, or you're going to put the time and effort into it deserves. Now, just as a rule of thumb, on average, and I was looking at some stats, and you know how much I love data. On average in Canada, it costs an employer $4,300 to hire a new employee. Okay, and that's across the board. That's an average. It's even higher in construction. I'm going to say the average is probably $7,000 to $8,000.
Yeah,
okay, when you start to calculate in everything. Now, what is hilarious to me is I talk to guys about this all the time, right? Oh, well, I've got Indeed. Oh, I've got this. Well, does anyone really realize if you calculated how much you spend on Indeed and the bad hires that come from it, it's got a negative ROI. We tracked it for 5 years for any field staff, negative ROI, meaning we lost money every time we used the service. And
not including damages.
Damages, yeah. Like, just the fact that you had to play small. Now, again, what's the solution to that? Well, you have to create a budget, just like you do for marketing. If you're spending any dollars on marketing, split it in half. Half goes to hiring, half goes to marketing.
It makes complete sense. Like, even thinking about it, like, how do I put this? I mean, we invest all this money and time into marketing, and we're not seeing hiring the same way.
Nope. And again, think about what's in more demand. What's more valuable? So, like, think about profitability here for a second. One guy, all right, one well-trained, like up to speed, up-to-date guy will generate on average about $100,000 in gross profit for a company. Okay, right? They do, $200,000 to $300,000 in work, maybe $100,000 in gross profit. How much does a single job make you? Does it make you $100,000 in gross profit? So again, it's so funny how much logic gets lost in it because people just don't understand it. And again, like I said, the guys that do tend to be the better marketing and sales. And I continue to bring it up, but it's absolutely true because you're going to treat it the same way. You know what I mean? Now, there's obviously things different down the line, but ultimately, you can get very, very good at this with the right systems. So, if you want to invest in something that's going to serve you long term and be less than what it costs you to hire a single person, we have a solution for you. If you want to try and do this on your own, listen, we got the support for you as well. We'll happily give you all the information so you can try and build it yourself. Okay.
I've always looked at it like historically, until you put it into this point, as a chicken and egg problem. I mean, I don't need to worry about hiring until I have more work. So first the work comes, then the hiring comes. But the way you're putting it together, it's like, no, they come together.
They come together. You can't run with one without the other. And in fact, you should be always starting recruiting and hiring first. Okay, because it has a longer turnaround cycle. On average, to make a single hire, it requires, like, properly hired. Okay, what we see is 45 applications to make one single hire. Okay, so 45 applicants through. It takes, in general, 60-ish days is what it's taking to fill a single role in the construction business. Now, those aren't my numbers; those are like StatCan numbers. Okay, that can be greatly reduced by your front end. Now, when we think about leads, all right, let's just say we're doing a service business offer. All right. General turnaround time for that is about 30 days. So if you're not starting 15 days ahead on your recruitment, what's that going to put you into a position of?
Insane pressure. That's for sure.
Well, then we take on and then we drop everything else. So it's a never-ending revolving door. And again, it comes down to how quickly you can process it. So it makes no sense to get a bunch of work if we can't get the manpower to do it, right? That's Absolutely. What stops guys. So you're constantly in this yin and yang. Well, if you just did them both together, you're probably going to get a result from that, right? That both one is complementing the other. So again, if you want the fast growth pathway, you combine those two things together and you're going to get a tremendously better result.
I love it. Let's leave it there, Jay. That's awesome, dude.
Absolutely. Anybody interested in our pro hire, I'd love to have a chat with you. We'll do a shameless plug. We have some demos and stuff as well. So, check it out, see if it's, if you can wrap your head around it. And, we've got lots of testimonials and stuff as well. So again, if you're looking for solutions, I'd love to help you.